Welcome to Jerusalem. For people of all kinds of faith or belief, Jerusalem is the spiritual center of the world. We ourselves came here to understand more about the city's 4,000-year-old history and visit its important sites. We are going to share with you what we've learned, including how we used this 3D scale model of what the city looked like during the time of Jesus as a wonderful visual aid that brought to life the archaeological sites that we visited around the city. But first, let's settle into our hotel, one that we highly recommend for you, especially if you want to be pampered a bit in luxury. The Waldorf Astoria is steps from the historic old city walls and was chosen for us by Viking Cruises as part of a tour extension.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Jerusalem Waldorf Astoria. We're super excited to be here. We just got here. We've got this beautiful room with a view. We're really exactly where we want to be in terms of what's going on in Jerusalem. And so we're getting checked and settled in here. We'll be here several nights and be able to explore everything Jerusalem and Tel Aviv's got to offer. Check out the atrium of the hotel we're staying in. It's beautiful. It's obviously night and we've got a beautiful view. The fountain's going. We had a great dinner with pasta and pizza and some Israeli wine that we really enjoyed. And we're heading up. Looking forward to an amazing time here. It starts tomorrow with breakfast at 7 a.m. We're having our first breakfast at the Waldorf, and it's a beautiful buffet. It's got everything, and we are excited, especially about the bread. I love the bread. And we're digging in right now with also fresh cappuccinos made for us, a huge spread, and it's all included.
After exploring more of what the hotel had to offer, including its indoor pool, we headed out into the city. Your first stop while in Jerusalem should be the Israel Museum. It is one of the world's leading museums, and by starting with an immersion in Jewish art, archaeology, and culture, you will be better prepared to understand all the amazing sights and experiences that are to come. You must visit the Shrine of the Book complex at the museum, which houses the Dead Sea Scrolls, known to be the oldest biblical manuscripts in existence. We wish we could show you some of them here, but video wasn't allowed in the complex. But we recommend that you see our Amman Jordan video on the other collection of Dead Sea Scrolls held there. Also at the Israel Museum is what is called the Holy Land model of Jerusalem, truly a hidden gem for us. It is a 22,000 square foot scale model of Jerusalem during the time of Jesus. We will use it as a visual aid that will add context around the archaeological sites we are going to visit. For example, here you see what Robinson's Arch looked like at the time, which was the name given to a monumental staircase that once stood at the southwest corner of the Temple Mount. For our next stop, let's go somewhere that gives us a similar perspective on the city. We recommend going to the Mount of Olives for truly panoramic views of Jerusalem. The Mount of Olives is a mountain range east of and adjacent to Jerusalem's Old City. It is named for the olive groves that once covered its slopes. It is the best place to view the Temple Mount. This landmark is of deep religious significance to both Judaism and Islam. Sitting atop the mount is the Dome of the Rock. This iconic Islamic shrine is Jerusalem's most recognizable landmark. Want to see how the Temple Mount looked in Jesus' time? Just travel back to the Holy Land model we showed you earlier. See how truly impressive it was. We traveled closer to the base of the Temple Mount to see the archaeological excavations that are being done around the Western Wall.
We're at the archaeological site here, and it's really cool because behind us is actually a Hadrian's road from the 1st century, right down here. And above us is Robinson's Arch, and this will all make a lot of sense as you uncover it with us. But this is a huge archaeological site that spans thousands of years and is a really interesting thing to see and get explanations on and context of each other, as well as when you see it kind of all come together over the thousands of years.
One of the other exciting things we got to do was descend into a private ritual bath that had been dug into the bedrock. Jewish law required ritual purity at the time. Because of Temple Mount entry restrictions, Jews are not permitted to pray at the Temple Mount platform, so the western wall of the Temple Mount itself plays an important role in Judaism. It's often called the Wailing Wall, but that can be a derogatory term to some. It's possible to visit the wall and participate in prayer with the devout, and it's a remarkable thing to witness. It's important to note some practical considerations if you visit. Men and women must enter from two different entrances. There must be proper head covering, and women will not be permitted at some parts of the wall, but we will show you video from that area.
Come. Hello.
In the Holy Land model, one of the most impressive buildings is King Herod's palace. It had 3 massive towers at the time. Nothing remains of the palace today except for portions of the wall and tower complex, and much of it has been altered. You can visit it today as the Citadel, or also known as the Tower of David. The site is now occupied by the Tower of David Museum. When you visit the museum, we recommend that you don't forget to look up and take a look at the glass piece hanging just past the entrance. It's a piece called Yellow Chandelier by famous artist Dale Chihuly. Just past this, you can see some impressive archaeological excavations on the grounds of the Citadel. But afterwards, make your way to the top of the tower for some amazing views of the city from above. King David was the most important ruler of the ancient kingdom who united all the tribes of Israel. Today, David is probably most famous for being the boy who defeated a giant with a slingshot. In the model, we saw David's tomb as it might have looked in the 1st century. Today, the traditional tomb of David is located on the western hill of Jerusalem, just outside the Old City. We paid it a visit, and you should too. But we think it's most important to go upstairs to the upper room of the building. This is traditionally held to be the site of the Last Supper. The Last Supper is the final meal that, in the Gospel accounts at least, Jesus held with the apostles. This is a very holy place to Christians. We traveled to another important holy site, and one that is incredibly beautiful. Gethsemane is a garden at the foot of the Mount of Olives. where, according to the Gospels, Jesus prayed before being arrested before his crucifixion. There is also a lovely church there. See our video about walking in the footsteps of Jesus for more about this area. Also in that video is more on the Bethesda pool, which is next on our tour. The Pool of Bethesda is a pool known from the New Testament account of Jesus miraculously healing a paralyzed man. Nearby the Bethesda pool is the Church of St. Anne, which is built above the spot believed to be the birthplace of the Virgin Mary. You can visit the area inside that supposedly marks the exact spot, and you can pray. Nearby begins the Via Dolorosa, or Stations of the Cross. The Stations of the Cross is a processional route that represents the path that Jesus would have taken as he was forced by Roman soldiers on the way to his crucifixion. There are 14 stations to visit in total. The first station in the route can't actually be visited because it is closed off, but you can see what it looked like in the Holy Land model. This is the Antonia Fortress, where Christians believe was the site where Jesus was tried by Pontius Pilate. The last few stations of the cross are inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which you must see. The church was built on the traditional site of Jesus' crucifixion and burial. It can be extremely busy, but the beauty of this church is worth the inconvenience. For this next site, we need to travel to Bethlehem in the West Bank. Here we visit the Church of the Nativity. The place holds major religious significance to Christians of many denominations as the birthplace of Jesus. The basilica is one of the oldest continuously operating churches in the world, and it has survived invasions, rebellions, earthquakes, and difficulties of all kinds. This next place to visit is definitely a hidden gem of Jerusalem. Marc Chagall, the famous Russian-born painter and designer, created 12 windows representing the 12 tribes of Israel and donated them to the Hadassah Medical Center in 1962. Each of the 11 by 8-foot windows feature brilliant reds, blues, yellows, and greens. They are not easy to get to, but the hospital does offer occasional tours. Let us know if there's something on this list that should have been added. Enjoy your visit. Watch this video to see what's next on our adventures and check out our customizable merchandise store. See you soon.